Welcome to another edition of the Red Zone podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Pointe-Jure, and today we are previewing the big game, the 111th Grey Cup from Vancouver between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts. And let's start with the headlines. What's the headline for these two teams? Well, Winnipeg, they're trying to win their third Grey Cup in 5 years. They trying to avoid losing three in a row because that wouldn't be so good. And, well, then they wouldn't be called a dynasty. But I think if they win this one, they will be a dynasty. And Zach Collaros, we're going to have to see, how he ranks among great quarterbacks, all-time quarterbacks in the CFL if he wins his third on Sunday. And then for Toronto side, they're trying to win 2 out of 3. Obviously, they won back in 2022. A weird win, a weird Grey Cup. They win with defense. They win, with just these bizarre plays, these game-changing plays on special teams. So they can win their second in 3 years. Not as dominant as they were in 2023 when they went 16-2, but they couldn't get the job done because he lost to Montreal in the East Final. But this year, they avenged that loss and they picked up a victory. But they lost Chad Kelly to injury, and he's going to be out for close maybe to a year. Maybe not a year, but it's going to be at least a couple months, if not into next season. So it will be Nick Arbuckle getting the start in probably the biggest game of his life because he has never started a Grey Cup game, so this will be his first. And he's going up against a monster in Winnipeg who has a veteran quarterback that's been there before. Again, I said he's been to, I think, 5 straight Grey Cups now. He was in one with Hamilton, I think, as well in 2014. So he has experience in this game while Nick Arbuckle just doesn't. And I think Toronto's going to have to really rely on their defense because in the 2 regular season meetings, which they won, they had 12 sacks combined, 7 and 5. And if they can do that, that's really going to help them out. And their defense can really keep them in it. I think the tally was like 12 sacks to only 2 for Winnipeg in the 2 meetings. So that's going to be a big factor. Can Toronto get to the quarterback? And if they can, this is going to stay close and I think low scoring like both of these games were. And then for Winnipeg, Brady Oliveira. Brady Oliveira. He was the MOP last night at the awards and he won the MOC, the most outstanding Canadian. So he's going to have his prints on this game. In the West Final, it was more about Kenny Lawler, but Brady Oliveira got going late in that game to really it was not even close in that game. Winnipeg just pulled away, and I was surprised because I thought Saskatchewan's defense was going to show up, was going to force turnovers, but they really couldn't stop that Winnipeg offense that really got going. So Toronto's going to have to limit that. And on offense for the Argos, it's just going to try to have an efficient offense. Actually, in the first game, Nick Arbuckle did start for Toronto against Winnipeg when they won 16-14 way back in July. He went 12 of 22 for 87 yards. Yeah, that was it. And they still were able to pick up the win. So it shows you that Nick Arbuckle does not have to have the biggest game for the Argos to win on Sunday. He does not have to have the biggest game, but I think he'll have to have way more yardage than he had in the first meeting and better efficiency as well. Just short passes. He's a dump down quarterback, a lot of check downs, a lot of first read throws. So can that get the offense going, the passing game going? But I do think this will be a low scoring game. And let's get to my prediction because I like upsets. And you know what? I could see an upset in this one because Toronto, I just never think they can do it. I didn't think they could do it against Montreal. I didn't think they could do it against Ottawa, but they proved me wrong both times, and I think it's due to that. They have a great head coach in Ryan Dinwiddie, who just keeps getting this team to Grey Cups. I mean, 2 out of 3, and he's the quarterback whisperer. If he can get any good game out of anybody, it's going to be Ryan Dinwiddie, and he'll get Nick Arbuckle to have a pretty good game and to possibly squeak out this Grey Cup. I do think it'll be close. Back to my prediction. I'm going to say Toronto wins this game. Yeah, you heard me. They go 2 out of 3, and they're going to win 20-16. I think Toronto can get to Zach Collaros, get to the quarterback as they did in the first 2 meetings. And it's just going to be slow going until the fourth quarter, where a turnover here or turnover there may be the determining factor in this Grey Cup. And I am predicting that Toronto will win this game on Sunday. And who knows what that would mean for Nick Arbuckle? Would he get, offers in free agency? Maybe not starting, positions, but hey, people are going to be looking at him because he led his team to the Grey Cup, but they're still going to have to go through a Winnipeg offense that it seems like is peaking at just the right time. But that will do it for this edition of the Red Zone podcast. Let me know your predictions down below in the comments section. Who do you have winning on Sunday? Do you have Winnipeg, like I think a lot of people do? A lot of people think it's going to be a blowout. No, relatively close because of who Toronto has starting at quarterback, but they have a very good defense. So really, let me know who you have, and we will see you next week to break it all down and for the end of season 2 of the podcast. That passed really quickly, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your week into the weekend, and then on Sunday, hope you enjoy what should be a very good game. But until then, we'll see you later. Peace.